GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up. We're Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is he? How good is he? Let's get it, big dog. Let's get it, GMGP. It is Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my brother from another mother. Y'all know who it is, the Canadian Jordan Richards. Week 3 of the NFL season just about in the books. We got a dope Monday Night Football game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Detroit Lions tonight, but we got a lot to talk about. Injuries, bounce back players, underperforming players, flat out busts. JRich in these fantasy football streets. And we got the people in the building. I see y'all talking early. D-Bro's in the building. What's popping with you, my guy? D-Bro, shout out to Fantasy Pros, Derek Brown. That's my dog, Royce Taylor in the building. HK Survivor, All City, 617 BC, Jay Jackson, Roger, Anthony, Tommy, Sosa. Trey Benson season, baby. Yes, unfortunately, we got to get to some injury news. Marlon, Jay Sully, Larson, and Jorge from Rhode Island in the damn building. JRich, how you doing this morning, big dog?
I'm good, Ray. I'm good. I think considering everything that we saw over the weekend, 7 games, Ray, first time since I believe 1970.
Crazy.
That 7 games had last second finishes in the last 3 minutes. That was from Adam Schefter and Elias Sports Bureau. But yeah, phenomenal weekend of football. Definitely a lot of injuries that we have to get to. Definitely lots to take away in terms of fantasy football. But in terms of just football in general, phenomenal week 3. Not what we expected, not how we draw it up, but man, was it fun.
Yeah, we had college football on Saturday. There were some good games on Saturday, and then rolling into Sunday, there was a bunch of them on. It felt like in the early slate, it was just a lot of games going on. But listen, we got to get right to it today. Shorter show, 1 hour today. I got some stuff that I got to do. 1 hour show. Let's just get right to it, JRich. The news on the week and some unfortunate news. And let's just start with the player who did not play that we thought would play, but no Xavier Worthy last night for the Kansas City Chiefs. We had speculated that Worthy was going to play, and I was like, hey, if he's playing, I'm putting him out there. What are your thoughts on the situation in Reed where he didn't travel with the team? Not only did he not play, he didn't travel with the team. Maybe they felt we could get this one done without Xavier Worthy versus the Giants, and it was kind of, for a little bit, it was a lot tighter and closer than people thought. But what are your what are your thoughts on Xavier Worthy not traveling with the team, not playing in week 3 with the Chiefs?
I think this lines up more with what we should have expected after the injury occurred, right? People said it could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks was kind of the more generous timeline. 2 was definitely more of a rushed timeline for Xavier Worthy. So I think this makes a lot of sense. You know, people saw him practicing, saw him with the brace, without the brace, kind of seeing him moving around, said, oh, maybe he could be on the field, but it always came down to is, do they really need him to beat the Giants? And the answer was no, and they ended up winning anyways. It wasn't fun, it wasn't flashy, but they did enough to win the game, and that's all that matters. Maybe we see him in week 4, but even with that, I'm not entirely expecting him to be back even in week 4.
All right, Jay, some other injury news. Very unfortunate news out of Los Angeles. Chargers running back Najee Harris. Done. Out. I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I know it was speculated that it was the Achilles tendon. Has that been confirmed for Najee Harris? Achilles tendon tear?
I haven't seen official confirmation yet, but we all saw the injury.
Yeah.
Non-contact, went down, turtled right away. Seemed like he knew something was very wrong. Sucks, man, because for everything that he occurred in the offseason to coming back, getting on the field, getting his snaps back after, being slow played into the season, it seemed like he was potentially going to have a pretty large role in this offense, and now that's unfortunately not going to happen. And with the last, because it's it's a 1-year deal for $10 million. what's next for Najee is the other question. Is he potentially walking into retirement coming off this injury? I hope not, but definitely unfortunate for the Chargers because it would have been great for their backfield, and definitely unfortunate more so for Najee Harris.
I'm not going all the way to retirement. He's still a young player. I think the fantasy usage conversation is much different than him retiring. I don't believe that Najee Harris is walking into retirement at this stage of his career. Unfortunate that he's going to miss the season, and it's a tough road back. But no, I'm not going all the way to retirement yet for Najee Harris. Another running back who is injured and going to be out for the season, James Conner, the Cardinals starting running back, done. They ruled him out immediately. It's already come out, confirmed, ankle injury, out for the season. Really unfortunate for, one of the last true hammer running backs in the NFL. Wasn't the best start for James Conner to kick off this season, and I know a lot of people were drafting him as that safe kind of middling round running back that should just give you absolute just monstrous volume. Not going to happen this year. Tough for James Conner.
Yeah, it really sucks for Conner. He's one of those players that it feels like every year in fantasy we say he's just that last running back you can get who's going to give you 200, 250 carries every single season, has been very durable after suffering some injuries early in his career. And unfortunately, this is the year where it seems like it's not going to happen for James Conner, and the Arizona Cardinals will move forward with Trey Benson, which for a lot of people who are excited about Trey Benson are going to be excited to see him get a full share of the workload, and especially the way that James Conner praised Benson coming into the season, saying they're more of a 1A, 1B than him being the 1 and Benson being the 2. We're going to see Benson as the 1 going forward.
A lot of DeMarcado as well. I know last week everybody was pumped to the high heavens for Ja'Cory Krosky-Marin, and what did we say on the show? Don't be shocked when Jeremy McNichols is on the field getting touches and carries, and what happens on Sunday? Jeremy McNichols is on the field getting touches and carries. I do not believe that this backfield will be turned over to Trey Benson. It's just not how it works. So whether it's DeMarcado, whether they go sign somebody, I don't believe it's going to be all Trey Benson, but definitely a big opportunity for him. They drafted him in the 3rd round to come in and tote the rock to play alongside James Conner, and he didn't do that last year, but big opportunity for him this year, unfortunately at the expense of a really good running back in James Conner. CeeDee Lamb was also injured in the game versus Chicago, injured without even getting a target. He got injured on a halfback end around play. It was kind of like a hip drop tackle. Ankle got twisted up. Could have been a lot worse for CeeDee Lamb. He tested it, tried to get back on the field. We were texting our group chat. I'm like, dude, I'm watching the game. Like, he's out. His ankle, they showed it right when they took him off the field. Ankle was swollen. It was very big. So I'm like, no way. He's not going to play. But they're optimistic that he can get back on the field this week. Even if he has to miss a week, I'm just like, get better, CeeDee, because this offense was not good without CeeDee Lamb on the field, and that's putting it mildly. Mike Evans also exited the game. Surprise, surprise. Mike Evans and another soft tissue injury. We don't like to wish these things, but this is why we've been so high on Igbuka for the longest. Like, you can go back to any show since the draft, and the conversation around Emeka, at least for me, on this show has been Mike Evans has not been the perfect model of health and consistency at this stage of his career. And we saw that pop up, the hamstring. And I saw a lot of Twitter doctors, which, I mean, you think fantasy analysts are wrong. Twitter doctors are probably the worst. And then they get to cover up their wrongness by saying, oh my God, he healed ahead of time. This is why modern medicine, they get to weasel out of being dead ass wrong by just modern medical marvels here. But they could be wrong about this one as well. But I saw a lot of people saying, don't be surprised if Mike Evans ends up on the IR with his age and his history of hamstrings. Either way, Baker Mayfield is now down three starting wide receivers, with Chris Godwin trying to work his way back, Mike Evans' hamstring injury, Jalen McMillan's neck. It is Emeka Egbuka season, byproduct of just necessity at this point, but really tough for Mike Evans, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I believe last year he also suffered from a hamstring injury, and if it wasn't for the Chris Godwin injury, he probably would have been on IR, right? But he nursed it, came back, I believe, in that 3-week timeline instead of putting on IR, and I believe they had the bye week in between there as well. So, again, it's not something that's new for Mike Evans. It's very unfortunate, but this is what happens when we talk about an old Chris Godwin and an old Mike Evans continuing to anchor this offense. It just can't continue to happen, and unfortunately for Evans, he did get injured in this game. We'll see what his timeline is. We haven't got an official timeline as to how bad the hamstring injury was. like you said, a lot of people did seem like it wasn't very good, and it was a potential worse one where he could be on IR, which kind of sucks for us. But it's going to be a Buccaneers season, and then depending on how you feel about Sterling Shepard, he wasn't too bad in this game either.
I mean, he's going to need somebody to throw the ball to. Sterling Shepard, Tez Johnson, Rakeem. I don't know who the hell they have after Igbuka and Sterling Shepard. I guess it's going to be some Tez Johnson on the field. Here's the thing. Baker's going to still sling it around. Now, they did try to feed Bucky Irving a little bit more. Like, hey, we're going to have to run the ball. They gave that Bucky 25 rush attempts. My goodness. Talk about
crazy
bell cow Bucky in that one. But, Jay, let's talk about – listen, I was very, very outspoken on Friday. I ain't starting no Eagle, JRich, and I don't regret it. I still don't regret it because we saw the Philadelphia Eagles for the first half of play pull the same bullshit that they had pulled all season. The offense was dreadful, JRich. I mean, Jalen Hurts, I believe, had 4 completions at halftime, sub 20 yards at halftime. If it wasn't for his rushing touchdown, I mean, the Eagles are 21 skunked. I mean, they're bang-banged in the first half. But then the second half happened, and they were down to the Rams. My prediction, I said, oh, yeah, the Rams are going to win this game. It looked like they were going to cruise to victory, JRich. And then they finally said, you know what? Fuck it. We've paid A.J. Brown. We've paid Jalen Hurts. Throw the football. Like, let's just see what happens if we attempt to pass in the NFL. Just shocking, right? Like, let's just see what happens. And what happened, JRich? A.J. Brown in the second half, 6 for 109 and a touchdown. Devontae Smith had another 4 or 5 grabs in the second half. He scored a late touchdown. It was like finally they realized we've got probably at worst a top 5 wide receiver duo in the NFL. Yeah. If you want to put Puka and Adams up there, if you want to go Chase and Jefferson, if you want to go, Chase and Higgins, if you want to go Jefferson and Addison, Lamb and Pitt, at worst, this is a top 5 wide receiver combination. They realized that in the second half. Jalen Hurts had 217 passing yards, 3 touchdowns in the second half versus this Rams defense alone. My big takeaway, I wrote about it last night for the instant reactions piece on Yahoo. Check out all my content on Yahoo Fantasy. They finally realized they've got these receivers and threw the ball. Like, will this give the Eagles, JRich, confidence to come out the gate throwing the football in week 4 and beyond? Because they have not done that through 3 games this season. They just don't even want to throw the ball in the first half. I don't want to throw it. I'm too scared of Jalen Hurts. They finally let him rip, and then it yielded very positive results for the Eagles, who got a big win at home versus the Rams.
Yeah, a huge win. Obviously takes them to 3-0. Big win over the Rams, which is potentially could be for playoff seeding down the line, right? But the question you asked was, is it going to convince the Eagles that they should throw the ball more going forward? And I think the answer is still no. Because it wasn't until they were down 19 points that they said, man, maybe we should throw the football. And that's 3 scores, right? It took them being down 3 scores to say, we need to throw the football. Ray, they were erased a 19-point deficit. Teams were 2-193 in such spots since 2023. So, that tells you how bad it had to get for them to say, look, we need to throw the football. We have to, or we're not going to win this game. And they still barely won it because they probably should have lost. Now, it was a week where field goal units didn't get it done on offense, right? Oh, the amount of blocked field goals we saw this week.
Yeah, kicking units in general.
Missed
just
field
awful.
Goals.
Yeah.
The lines just couldn't get it done. Now, again, great plays on the defensive side. Jordan Davis, one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL, bust through the line, blocked the kick, returned for a touchdown, saved the day for the Eagles. But in terms of their offense,
that NFL's rigged, JRich. Somehow they covered that spread on the last.
It's funny that when we did BR, right? You picked the Rams, and I was with you the whole way. Everything you said was right. I think the Rams are the better team. I think the defense is way better. They shut down Saquon Barkley. Again, if you told me they were going to hold Saquon Barkley to 18 carries and 46 yards,
they win the game.
I'd say,
they won the game.
They win the game easily. Yeah. Because that's their kryptonite last season, was they couldn't stop the run. Didn't matter because the Eagles found a way. Much like Casey in 2024, the Eagles found a way. And they're all going to keep on going.
You see, shout out to our boy Dill Esquire in the building. Negative net 1 passing yards in the first half for Philadelphia. I feel I appreciate you, Trav. Appreciate you, Trav. You guys are such pros, man. Appreciate you, Trav, in the chat. I do feel a little better about the passing attack, Jay. I do, because like they can pass. You do have A.J. Brown. You do have Dallas Goedert. Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper, is out there. What the hell are y'all doing? Like, that first half, I didn't feel good at all about saying fade. I'm like, what are they doing? How is A.J. Brown have no targets? What are we doing, Philadelphia? I don't know who this OC is. Throw the goddamn football, man. Throw the ball. Hurts can get it in the vicinity. Like, even if he's not the best quarterback of all time, he's more than competent of getting the ball to his pack. Throw it. And I know a lot of people are like, I still don't trust it in the chat. I still don't trust. They wouldn't have done it had they didn't need to. I still don't. I'm like, dude, the O-line, Lane Johnson is hurt. Saquon hasn't been. Listen, we're talking about underperformers. Saquon is saving the day with TDs and some of these receptions, but he hasn't returned number 1 overall pick value either. So throw the freaking ball.
Well, I think that's the problem. Is you say, do you trust the offense more going forward? Yes. But do I feel more confident starting A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith next week? I think the answer is kind of the same. The answer is no. Like, I start them because I drafted them very high, especially A.J. Brown. And again, I don't want to start them, but I don't have better options. I don't have a higher floor ceiling mix than A.J. Brown on my team. It's just because he's so good and this offense can be so good, I start them, but I don't think it gives me any more confidence to start them going forward.
Okay. JRich, we had a lot to say about the rookie running back class last week. A lot of people had a lot to say about the rookie running backs, especially coming off of a week in which none of them really looked good at all. I mean, they were all kind of stank, JRich. But I want to talk about the bounce back in particular for Quinshon Judkins in this game against the Packers, man. This was one where the Packers, even on the road, were favored in this game. They ended up losing, and Cleveland improves their record to 1-2. They could easily had this damn kicker made the kick. They could be 2-1 right now. The Cleveland Browns should be 2-1. But the big takeaway was how good Quinshon Judkins looked in this matchup and how much he dominated this backfield. Jay, they ran the ball 19 times. Quinshon Judkins had 18 of them. 1 carry for Dylan Sampson. Quinshon Judkins, I think he had 2 targets, no yards in the receiving game. Jerome Ford was next, leading running back with targets and receiving opportunity. He had 4 receptions, I believe. That happened on those passing down situations, but it was very clear that Quinshon Judkins was the back. It was no split. There was no easing him back in the game. Quinshon Judkins did his damn thing. Omarion Hampton, too. Jay, byproduct of Najee Harris being out, Omarion Hampton led the way for the Chargers, both on the ground, and he had 7 targets in the receiving game for Justin Herbert. He played well. He bounced back in week 2. Jeanty, I thought he was good.
It's not looking good.
I thought he was good. I thought he was very good. I believe 11 of his 17 rush attempts, he was contacted at or behind the line of scrimmage. I believe 11 of his rush attempts, he was contacted at or behind the line of scrimmage. The offense is a problem for Jeanty a little bit, it's utilizing him in space. The concerning ones are right now, RJ Harvey, who had 2 touches, to J.K. Dobbins' 11, at least 2 rush attempts. Harvey was used a little more in the receiving game. And I know people are excited about Henderson today, and probably they should be, because the 2 running backs ahead of him had a combined 3 lost fumbles in the game. Like, you can't have it. I mean, Ramondre looked like he wanted to cry in the post-game interview. You know, I can't hold the ball, then they don't need me. I'm no use to him. I'm like, damn, dude, grow a sack. I get it. Man. Right. He's just devastated. Good night, Ramondre Stevenson. But it took that in order for Henderson to get like real snaps. And even when Ramondre fumbled the second time at the goal line, might I add, they put Antonio Gibson in. Hey, Gibby, you get in there and you play. If I had my concern level on these backs, Quinshon Judkins, 0. Omarion Hampton, 0. Ashton Jeanty, honestly, for me, 0. RJ Harvey, 5, 6. Treveyon Henderson, probably a 3. Low concern for him. It's low because I don't think that they're going to continue to give Mondre the ball if he can't hold it. And then Kaleb Johnson, I believe, was a healthy scratch, so he is irrelevant right now. So What are your thoughts on the rookie running back class and their sort of semi-bounce back performances in week 3?
I think in a lot of ways it's, I wouldn't say expected, but just kind of going down the list, right? Jeanty with the poor backfield. I did find the tweet from Ryan McFadden that you were referencing. Raiders running back Ashton Jeanty was hit or behind the line of scrimmage on 11 of 17 rushes versus Washington.
They're saying some audio issues. Hold on. It can't be us. He said y'all are going in and out, choppy, restart the stream. Somebody said they can't hear anything. Looks good on my end, Jay. Let's just make sure it's good.
I've been able to hear you the whole time.
Oh, he said it's YouTube. Yeah, it ain't us. I think we're pretty good. Yeah, he said it's YouTube. Jamal said it's YouTube.
I've heard you the whole time.
Okay. Y'all, it's stream, right? Canada, Texas, got a little rain going on, but just restart the stream. But it seems like we should be good. Most people in the chat said left came back. It's better. He said y'all are good. All right, let's go. Sorry.
All right, so yeah, Ryan McFadden on X, at Ryan McFadden _ Raiders running back Ashton Jeanty was hit or behind the line of scrimmage on 11 of 17 rushes versus Washington, which you said and was correct. But he also added in that same tweet, Jeanty has now been hit at or behind the line of scrimmage on 57%, 27 of 47 of his rush attempts this season. So that alone tells you it's not entirely a Jeanty issue.
Right.
It is a Raiders issue, which we did kind of know already.
Yes.
We saw that preseason week 1, and we said, this offensive line is pretty bad, right? And so the Jeanty side of it kind of is what it is. I think this is what it's going to be for most of the year. When they're not playing bad teams with bad rush defenses, he probably struggles, but at least you're knowing he's going to get the bulk of the volume. I think the bigger concern is that there's not anything for him really in the receiving game. I don't believe he caught any pass in this game. I didn't watch a ton of this game overall, but considering the game script, you would have hoped to see a few more receptions go his way. I mean, Trey Tucker was wide receiver 1 on the season.
0 targets, right? Not even a target. Dylan Lobby had 1. Zamir White had 2.
Right, so that alone is concerning. So Jeanty getting no targets is a concern, especially considering the game script. Hampton is going to be great going forward because of the offense and because it's his backfield now. You get into Henderson. I have some concerns about Henderson, not necessarily because of his play style, but he was definitely in the doghouse going in. It seems like he was forced out of the doghouse because of the other running backs underperforming ahead of him, but it doesn't mean that I'm confident he's the guy going forward. So don't just start Henderson and say, okay, he's going to be great now. I told you guys I was benching him this week, and I did bench him, and he didn't play very well. Towards the end of the game, he got snaps, but if it wasn't for 3 fumbles plus the fumble by May, they probably win the game, and those running backs continue to start going forward. So I wouldn't say that it's going to be Henderson's season going forward by any stretch. Definitely concerned about Harvey. Nix was not good in that game. There's so many missed opportunities from Bo Nix in that game where he could have had at least another 100 yards, maybe even more than that. Marvin Mims down the sideline multiple times. Trey Franklin, multiple instances down the field where it's just missed opportunities. But it seems like Dobbins has a hold on that backfield, so definitely some concerns there. Love Quinshawn Judkins. Think he was great in this game, ran the ball very effectively. The Browns' offensive line is very, very good and will continue to be very good. And especially when you have 0 threat of passing attack, right? It's crazy that Judkins is playing as well as he's playing. But then you get further down the line, Kaleb Johnson's basically buried right now. You can't start that guy, and there's really no hope on the horizon. But you didn't touch on Cam Skattebo, right? So there was an injury to Tyrone Tracy. He was knocked out of the game late last night. We did hear early reports on Sunday that Cam Skattebo was going to get some more run, and it turned into 10 for 60 on the ground with a touchdown, along with leading the Giants in receiving, 6 receptions on 8 targets for 61 yards. Cam Skattebo delivered on everything that we knew he could be. What are your thoughts on him going forward?
He needs a new number first and foremost. Like, he needs a new number. I give him something else. I don't like 44, okay? It's too big of a number, and he's too small of a running back to wear number 44. But his play on the field, he's a big dog. He's an absolute big dog. And I don't want to get into, will it last? Does his play style, can he be that physical and be that punishing years and years and years? I don't care. He can now. He's the best running back that they have. He needs to be on the field. He was always a really, for everything that people talked about him doing on the ground in college at Arizona State, his receiving stuff was always a little bit better. Even going back to when he was at Sac State, I believe, he was a very good pass-catching running back. So to use him in space the way that they did, there was a couple of times where he tried to hit the outside and probably doesn't have enough juice to do that. Get him going north and south. use him in space in the receiving game. And for an offensive line that is still trying to work Andrew Thomas in, he's limited snaps in that game, pressure galore. It's easy just dump offs for him. And with the attention that Neighbors will command over the top, that Wan'Dale Robinson does down the field, absolutely. I mean, he is a big-time rookie RB riser. And if you're talking about ranking these guys right now moving forward, how would you rank these rookie running backs? And I'm going to just throw a couple of other names out there to keep in mind. You've got Bajal Tootin out of Jacksonville, who continues to get run. Not as his role is a little, his pathway to more opportunity isn't as clear as Skattebo, because Travis Etienne's been phenomenal, right? You've got Tootin, Woody Marks is playing a little bit more, but still the Texans offense is broken. How would you right now today rank these? Let's go 4 running backs right now, top 5 running backs, rookie guys. Rest of the season, how would you rank them?
I think I would have to have Hampton number 1. I mean, no real surprise there. But number 2 is definitely tough. Because if you believe Henderson can break out and take a hold of that backfield, then there's some value there. Judkins feels so safe and so secure in his role, but the Browns offense kind of stinks. Like, Ray, I'm really tempted to put Cam Skattebo at number 2. Again, I don't love the Giants offense, but if he's going to catch even 4 or 5 passes.
You got Krosky Merritt too. Sorry, you got Krosky Merritt too. And anybody that's watching, if it's choppy, it's not choppy on our end. Just gut out and then watch it on replay. Like, it'll be up later on. The feed isn't doing anything on our end, so I'm assuming this is a YouTube issue. But you said you're tempted to put Skattebo at 2?
I'm tempted to put Skattebo at 2. So Hampton is definitely going to be at 1 for me. I'm tempted to put Skattebo at 2 because of the pass catching profile. And then especially when you compare him to the Browns offense, Giants offense, kind of similar, probably both going to struggle, but slightly lean Skattebo because of the pass catching work there. I think I'd probably put Judkins at 3, Henderson at 4, and then it's really tough. I mean, the problem is, Ray, where do you put Jeanty? Because I just don't know where the fantasy points are going to come from if he doesn't score. And, you know, we haven't mentioned Ollie Gordon, right? He's another player that, do you like Ollie Gordon or Ashton Jeanty going forward? You like Ashton Jeanty's touches, but you might actually like Ollie Gordon a bit more going forward. So I think I'd probably slightly put Jeanty ahead of Henderson. So at that point, I'd be Hampton, Skattebo, Judkins, Jeanty, Henderson as my top 5. I think that's probably how I would base my top 5 right now. I think that's what I would do. How do you feel about that top 5, and how do you feel about some of the guys I left out?
I still think I want Jeanty. I feel like his opportunity is the most guaranteed. It hasn't been good right now. The offensive line is a problem, but I don't believe that he's going to cede work to anybody, like anybody.
Yeah,
so I still would probably have Jeanty, Hampton, and Judkins would be 1, 2, 3. And I've got no problem putting Judkins. I would go Jeanty, Hampton, Judkins, and then
Jeanty at 1.
I think Jeanty would still be at 1. I think Jeanty is still at 1. I think so.
The offense is drastically different, though.
The problem does, just to me, it doesn't seem to be a Jeanty problem. He doesn't look bad to me. He looks good.
But the situation it's not improving either, right?
Let me ask you this. Is anybody trading their Jeanty for Skattebo? I don't think that would happen. Would anyone trade their Jeanty for Hampton? I don't know. Would they trade him for Judkins? I think people are more remember we talked about this last week. People want Judkins to pop too. So I think some people may do that. But
do you think a Judkins owner would take a Jeanty? And I think the answer after today is no. Going into this week, you could have got that trade done probably. But after this week, what he just did to the Packers, like that, this is the part that, you know, people in the chat are saying Judkins could be a 2. 100% agree.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah, you want to put Judkins at 2 over
what you did to the Packers?
Let me say this. Judkins looks better to me than Hampton looks in LA.
100%.
But
100%.
Najee's out of the way. That offense is better in LA. So you got a quarterback that will throw the ball to Judkins isn't going to catch a lot of passes, right? But he looks like a better runner of the football than Omarion Hampton. So if you want to flip those two, I think those are the top three in some combination. I'm still fine with Ashton Jeanty. I believe the Raiders play the Bears this week. It's a get-right spot for Jeanty and the Bears. But Skattebo is absolutely inside that top five, and I'm taking Skattebo right now over Harvey. I'm taking him over Henderson. Let's not even talk about Kaleb Johnson. Basil Tootin is a good player, but I think Skattebo would be firmly right there in that 4 spot for me.
Yeah, and that's where I think it's hard, right? Because would you have Henderson at 5 at that point? Or would you go another direction? Do you like a Tootin more than Henderson going forward? Do you like an Ollie Gordon? It's just, you wish you could get on the field, really.
Yeah.
You know the talent's there.
Yes.
You wish he caught a few more passes. Like, again, Ramondre, once again, I believe, was second on the team in receiving. How is he second on the team in receiving every week?
Well,
it just makes no sense.
I wrote about this. This New England offense, outside of Drake May, is some shit, dude. It is.
It's awful.
They don't use the receivers. It's Hunter Henry. There was one play in the game where I saw Ramondre. I was like, oh, Hendo's got one. He's going to cut. It was Ramondre. I'm like, God damn, man. I thought that was Treveyon Henderson. The New England offense is a problem. But to everyone's point about Skattebo, he absolutely, I'm not going as high as 2, JRich. I'm not going as high as 2, but he's right there inside that 4 slot. I'm taking him over Henderson right now, taking him over Harvey. We're not talking about Kaleb Johnson. He looked good, and he can catch the ball, which is awesome. He can catch the ball. He's physical, and, there is something to them. DBs don't want to keep banging with him, time and time and time again. Like Marshawn Lynch says, when you over and over and over again, that's Skattebo, a really fun running style. He reminds me of Thomas Rawls in Seattle, just a smaller, not this huge Ollie Gordon, 6'2", 230-pound monster, but somebody that just got more of that DAWG in him. And every time he runs the ball, whether it's out of the backfield or in the receiving game, good things happen. All right, Jay, let's take a quick break. We're going to take a break. Y'all refresh the stream if anything is going on. Seems like everything is good on our end. We'll get back after this, and we will talk about Travis Hunter, a player that we spent a lot of time discussing last week. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the show. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right here on the channel. Check out DDFFB for all of our fantasy football content. Trinity Report, we will be doing that live today, later on about close to 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 5:30 Eastern Time. So if you're a member on DDFFB, you'll get that a little later today. But JRich, let's talk about Travis Hunter. We've got to talk about Travis Hunter because we spent a lot of time discussing him last week, and I was just like, hey, I don't think I would start him anymore. And you're panicking, fear monger, I'll buy Hunter, I'll give me first, I'll buy him for first and all that. Here we go again. The Jacksonville Jaguars in this game split him. He was like, I think he had like 30-something snaps on the defensive side of the ball, 40 snaps on
43.
37-43 split, offense, defense. 1 catch, 21 yards. I believe he only had 1 target on the offensive side of the ball. And I see Johnny saying he played well on defense. I thought he got abused. I mean, it was barbecue chicken anytime he was lined up against Nico Collins. I mean, he made the tackle. He was there to make the tackle, but he didn't do much on the defensive side of the ball. This is what we talked about last week. I wrote about this. We talked about it all week. I don't like what they're doing. Jay, you can't start him. That full stop. You know, we were panicked about Philly, but I'm like, hey, now that AJ Brown did it, put him right back in the lineup. You cannot start Travis Hunter, Jay. And my question to you, man, it's only 3 weeks of football. They traded up to do this very thing. And here's the thing. Me, you, nobody, don't act fucking surprised. Don't act like, oh my God, I didn't know this was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen. I knew it. You knew it. Everybody knew it. I don't think we knew it would be to this degree. We would thought, oh, he'll be primarily on one side, sparingly on the other. Man, he's playing at an equal split. And this was a game in which they lost De'Ami Brown. He got hurt. So I'm like, oh, all right. Now we get some more Travis Hunter on offense. Parker Washington. Come get some. Come get 11 of these Trevor Lawrence targets. And that's another problem. He threw the ball 40 times, completed 20 passes. T-Law's not very good either. So you're already talking about an offense that just spreads the ball all over the place. Tootin and Etienne are going to get their attempts. Brian Thomas is going to struggle to catch his passes. Parker Washington involved. Britton, there's too much going. Liam Cohen is the definition of doing too much right now. They're doing too much offensively, and you can't say anything because they're winning. They're 2-1 on the season. So my question to you is, what do we do with this offense? You could talk about Hunter. You could talk about Thomas. What do you do with this offense right now?
I think you invest in the running game. And I think that's the key answer here is that for everything we saw the pass catchers, right? Brenton Strange led them in receiving, 6 receptions, 61 yards on 7 targets, clearly the most efficient player by a mile. Brian Thomas, 2 receptions on 6 targets. Parker Washington, 11 targets, 4 receptions, right? You talked about Travis Hunter, only 2 targets in the game, 1 reception for that 21 yards. And to be fair to him, did look pretty good on that individual play. But the rushing attack is really what you want to invest in. There's 2 guys, man. It's Travis Etienne, 16 rushes, 56 yards, and a touchdown, again, against this Houston defense. Very strong defense. And Bashal Tootin, who found the end zone early, which was surprising, but Etienne still got in the end zone late, and it worked out all good for everyone. And if that's what's going to be the backfield going forward, like, that's what you want. That's what Liam Cohen is known for. Liam Cohen isn't known for his passing prowess, right? And Ray, everyone keeps bringing this up because you know who the passing game coordinator is in Jacksonville, right?
I do not. Who is it?
It is Shane Waldron, our favorite offensive coordinator, passing game coordinator, whatever you want to call it. Couldn't let JSN break out, couldn't get Rome Odunze on the field, and now is struggling to get Brian Thomas Jr. the ball. And that's the key takeaway here, is everyone thought Liam Cohen would revitalize this offense, and maybe it was a bit more Baker Mayfield passing the ball to his phenomenal cast of pass catchers relative to what they have in Jacksonville, more so than Liam Cohen's ability to scheme open wide receivers and especially pass catchers. Even though Trevor Lawrence is struggling, I do think this offense could be playing a little bit better than it has been and doing more for Trevor Lawrence than they've tried to do. They're taking a lot of deep shots, and he's missing a lot. And for me, it's the running game. I want to invest in the running game. Bashal Tutin's price is still very affordable. He's on the rise, but I think he's still attainable, and he's a player you want to have. And if you want to get some Travis Etienne, he's going to get a ton of volume in this offense. Doesn't seem like he's going to catch a lot of passes, but he will get some volume in this offense, and I think that's more than fine given his price. But how do you feel about the pass catchers? Because I had someone tell me they traded Travis Hunter after we talked about Hunter last week, saying, we're not so sure, this split's very concerning, traded him for a 26 first, Xavier Legette, and Ollie Gordon. And I thought, wow, that feels really low. But after this game, I'm like, man, if I get a single first and like a couple pieces added on, it sounds gross, but I'd feel pretty good about that. So where are you at on Hunter going forward?
Their next 4 games: San Francisco, Kansas City, Seattle, and the Rams.
Not a single easy game there. Not a single one.
Here's how I feel. I feel bad. I feel bad because I have been saying how good I believe Travis Hunter could be at wide receiver. For years, I was like, he's a better receiver than corner. The better receiver than corner. I feel bad because I talked about how high this upside could be inside this Liam Cohen offense. He could have the Chris Godwin role. He could have the Mike Evans role. He could do all this stuff. Hell, I was part of pumping him up throughout this draft cycle. And then when they paid the cost to go up to get him, I'm like, hell yeah, let's ride. Jay.
It just doesn't work for fantasy.
It's 3. Here's what I want people to tell me. When do we panic? Oh, it's still early. They're still figuring it out. I don't think it's as big of a conundrum internally as we think it is. I think they kind of know.
Nothing to figure out.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know we keep saying, oh, give them time. I think they kind of know. right? They know behind the scenes what we need to do. Here would be the ultimate effing gut punch, man. What if they're like, this dude's just not an NFL receiver, and we are going to play him a little bit offensively, but he's going to be a primary corner? How big of a gut punch would that be for people who, and it wasn't just dynasty. I mean, he was getting drafted high, goddamn redraft, man. Somebody in the chat, tell me where he was going in underdog, because I'm pretty sure
he was, I believe, in the top 30. He might have even been the top 24.
This would be the ultimate gut punch that, like, you're not going to play a lot of receiver this year. You know, we got to get this.
Well, that's the thing too, right? He's a corner. He's not a receiver. He is a trained corner. And they wanted him to learn receiver. And he can go out there and play corner 60 snaps, no problem. Again, the level of success is questionable, in your opinion. And I think he's got a lot to learn. He's very young. But he's a young player trying to learn two positions in the NFL.
Trying to learn
not
two,
one.
Man.
And receiver, he's never really played. Like, he's never truly played receiver. He did it a bit in college. He learned a bit in college. But the NFL is way different. We talk about, a player like Quentin Johnston took 3 years to adjust to the NFL because he wasn't ready to play in the NFL. Maybe it's confidence, maybe it's scheme, maybe it's multiple reasons. And he's trying to do it at one position. And he was still a first-round pick, and he's still extremely talented. Raw, but talented. And now he's figuring it out. Right? Marvin Harrison Jr., 4th overall pick.
Oh.
He still makes a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. And he's trying to learn one position. So, as you said, maybe it's as simple as they're not looking at this as, we need him to be good now. We have him for 5 seasons. And by the end of the 3rd season, we need to know whether or not we should extend him and pay him $40 million a year. That is the Jaguars' goal, or should be their goal, not whether or not he can be a 1,000-yard rookie receiver and play corner and get 6 picks. Right? I think that's the problem with the fantasy game.
I really think that it's not even, we keep focusing on Hunter, and I think him playing both ways definitely contributes to the frustrations. I don't know if Lawrence is good enough. Like, they're letting him launch the ball.
That's very fair.
They're letting him launch the ball. If there's a Trevor Lawrence prop every week, like it's over under pass attempts like 32, I'll just hammer the over. They're going to let him throw the ball. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence his QBR was 29.4 in this game. He completed 50% of his passes, average of 5.6 an attempt. I don't know if Lawrence is good enough to do this right here. ETN, okay? ETN, LaQuint Allen, the Basil Tootin, they're going to get a couple of targets out of the backfield. Got Brenton Strange that's going to get his customary 5 to 7. If Brian Thomas is going to be this elite wide receiver asset, and then you have enough gnats on the team. If you look at the Trinity, those little dots, those are just gnats. They get in the way. Like, I don't know if it's good enough for Hunter to really return. And people said in the chat, he was around the 4-5 turn. So 5th round pick, he was going in the same range as J-Mo, George Pickens, Xavier Worthy, Cortland Sutton. To return that value now, not splitting his duties on both sides. But here's the thing. We keep bitching and complaining about it. You know what? It ain't going to change. He's playing both sides. So deal with it, move on, trade him. But I don't see this situation really improving unless it's at the expense of somebody else. Because then if Hunter gets all this, then I don't feel like Brian Thomas. This just feels like a lot going on here. It just feels like a lot going on in Jacksonville.
Yeah, well, there's a few concerning points here. One, the Jacksonville defense is much better than we expected it to be, right? They have 9 turnovers, I believe, on the season, which is as many as they had all of last season, already through 3 games. Trevor Lawrence is 2-1, but Ray, in terms of what he's done throughout his career, he is completing 55.8% of his passes, which is the lowest mark of his career in his 5 seasons. Now it's only 3 games. Interception rate is the highest of his career through 3 games so far this season. His air yards per attempt is the lowest it's been at any point of his entire career at 5.05, even lower than when he had Urban Meyer. It was 5.18 for that entire rookie season. He's averaging 223 yards per game, which is about average given his career, and his QBR is second highest of his career, only higher than his rookie season. Every other year, he was at 56.1. Right now, he's at 48.
So he's a roller coaster.
And
he's a roller coaster.
He's definitely a roller coaster, but the harder part is not so much that he's a roller coaster. It's that they're also winning games. When they're winning games, there's no reason to change what they're doing. There's no pressure on the offense to change what they're doing. The defense is playing so well that it's not forcing the offense to do something different. And it's not forcing Lawrence to be better and throw the ball down the field and all the things that he's not doing right now. So I think that's one of the problems. Is we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. They have a very tough schedule. But if Lawrence isn't better, this team's still going to struggle. But if this team is, 8-8, it's a lot better than what it was last year. Because last year through 10 games, T-Law was 2-8. He's already 2-1. So he's already performing from a team level much better than last year.
Listen, I'm all about sources around here. We got one right here. We got one right here from Josh Jones. Have a friend that's pretty plugged into Jacksonville. One of the QBs said he's the worst route runner he's ever thrown to. After the catch, he's 101. Pair that with capable pass catchers. Like, I don't think he was very refined as a route runner either, but you get the ball in his hands, he's dynamic. But you can't.
Yeah.
It's just tough, JRich. We'll continue to monitor this situation. I do want to talk about Dallas and Chicago before we get out of here. The Chicago Bears beat the Cowboys 31-14. I talked about it last week. Start everybody versus Dallas. This is always a get-right opponent. Caleb Williams, 19 for 28. That's fine, right? That's pretty good. 298, 4 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks, 1 JRich QB hit. 1. Chicago couldn't run the goddamn ball at all. But you know what? No running game, no problem. Just throw it all over the field. Rome Odunze scored. DJ Moore scored. Luther Burden scored on the slowest, worst flea flicker I've ever seen in my life. It took all day long for that ball to get down there to Luther Burden, and he scored. Cole Kmet scored. Jay, it wasn't that any receiver outside of Burden, he led the way 3 for 101. It wasn't like this Dallas team is just so bad. I mean, I'm wearing the hat today because I am ready for Caleb Downs. Let's get ready to draft some Caleb Downs inside the top 5. This offense is bad. They lost CeeDee Lamb. Dak Prescott, if I told you he was 31 for 40, you'd be like, okay, that's not bad, right?
Not bad.
It's not bad. That's pretty good. 251 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. They pulled him for Joe Milton, and you know what Joe did? Came in and he launched an interception in the game. Javonte Williams fumbles on the first drive. Just gets the ball taken out of his hands by Tyreek Stevenson. Jake Ferguson gobbling up targets, right? Here was my big takeaway. And Pickens delivered for fantasy. 5 for 68 and a touchdown on 9 targets.
Yeah.
Jay, listen, I was wrong. I was wrong, Jay. I was wrong. Opportunity is there. No doubt about it. He's getting the downfield work. Was spot on about his role and his usage. I just don't think he's very good. I honestly just don't think I don't think he's very good. I'm watching him play, and I make the excuses for him. One of the interceptions clanked right off his hands into the linebacker's hands. I don't think he's very good. Like if Dallas doesn't re-sign him next year, I don't think I'll lose an ounce of sleep. I think he's fine. In back-to-back weeks, he scored. But I think he's like a 5 for 60, and you hope he scores. I do not think this is if CeeDee is out, he can assume this alpha role. This is good for Jake Ferguson. I think I was a little wrong. The situation is there. He's getting I just don't think he's that good, Jay. I think he's fine, but not he could come in and replace and be this alpha level target getter with CeeDee. I think I was pretty wrong on that.
Yeah, I think the problem is that him and CeeDee Lamb are drastically different, right? And when you have a game plan built around CeeDee Lamb, you can't just throw George Pickens into those type of roles. Like, it just doesn't work that way. And he's not the type of receiver that can do something like that. And that's where, I'm thinking about, wide receiver 2s. Can T. Higgins replace Jamar Chase? Not really, right?
No.
Can Devontae Smith replace A.J. Brown? Kind of. He's pretty good. And then the other guy I thought of was Jalen Waddle, right? Jalen Waddle is a player that can replace Tyreek Hill in his offense to some extent because they do similar things well. But these players are just too different. Like, they're just too different. You can't just tell George Pickens to go out and do it because this is the same George Pickens we saw in Pittsburgh. And this has always been kind of my problem with a George Pickens is that in Pittsburgh it was, it's Arthur Smith, it's the offense, it's the quarterbacks, it's this, it's that. And yes, he's in a much better situation in Dallas, but he's not playing any better than he did in Pittsburgh. He's just not. It's just because there's more volume, because there's more opportunity, his ceiling is a little bit higher than it would have been in Pittsburgh. But his outcome doesn't feel much different than a Devontae Smith, than a Jalen Waddle, than a T. Higgins, a wide receiver 2 that we like, that is in a good offense, potentially. Again, Miami, not so much. But we don't think they can be much more than that. You're praying they can be a wide receiver 2, and you draft them to be a wide receiver 2, but you know there is no shot they ever become a wide receiver 1. And I'm curious to see what happens, because we're going to see how injured CeeDee Lamb is, and we're going to see how George Pickens plays, because this is what's either going to get him an extension or it's going to get him cut. Like, this is his measuring stick, right? This is what Dallas brought him in to do. To be that wide receiver outside that can help out Dak Prescott. And now that CeeDee Lamb's injured, he has all the opportunity in the world. He should be the number 1 wide receiver target on the offense.
At least I'm on here saying it, and it hasn't been like he's busted, right? He scored in back-to-back weeks. He's been very startable, very usable. He's just not the high-end ceiling. Like, at least I'm coming on here saying, hey, I was wrong. Maybe he's not as good as we thought he could be in this offense. That's more than a lot of people. So what else do you want me to say? I'm fucking sorry, right? I can't go out there and make him catch the ball. He's top 3 in the NFL in end zone targets, unrealized air yards. He's getting everything about the situation has come to fruition. He has not produced. My bad. What? Don't let me draft your goddamn team.
Bad for, well, Ray, let's give you some credit here, because your boy Rome Odunze scored again.
Yeah.
So Ray, how high is too high for Rome Odunze? Because that is my number 1 takeaway out of this week.
Not too high. There is no too high.
I have been very outspoken about Amon-Ra St. Brown.
You have.
How I don't think he is as good as people think he is. Now, for fantasy, he's great. I think Rome Odunze is who everyone thinks Amon-Ra St. Brown is. Everyone thinks Amon-Ra St. Brown is this phenomenal receiver, so good. He's great for fantasy, and I completely agree for fantasy purposes. But in terms of actual NFL wide receivers, Rome Odunze is your Amon-Ra St. Brown in the flesh, like realized. 6'3", 215, and moves like a slot receiver. He is amazing, phenomenal, and should probably be a top 5 fantasy wide receiver in Dynasty and in redraft.
I think Rome Odunze is really good. So for being quote unquote wrong, and he's still the number 2 for the Cowboys, I was dead ass right about Odunze. I mean, he's awesome. How high? I don't know, but I know he was drafted in the 30s, and you got a real wide receiver 1 out of it going into the week. He was wide receiver 4 points per game, 23.8. I don't think, that will sustain throughout the course of the season. But yeah, he's their best pass catching option in Chicago. 3 for 62 and another touchdown in this one. Should have had another catch. He slowed down on a route. Should have had like 4 for 90 something. He slowed down on a route, but Odunze, very good. Odunze, very good. How high? I don't know where he's ranked right now, but he feels like at least a top 10 wide receiver in Dynasty at minimum. He feels like that.
Rome Odunze or Justin Jefferson going forward? I asked you this on Friday's show.
Jefferson.
You're still taking Jefferson over Odunze.
Yeah, Jefferson. Yes. I mean, he's doing it in a pretty nasty environment right now. Carson Wentz, JJ McCarthy haven't been very good. Yes.
But the environment's not changing, Ray. It's not changing.
But
it's the same Ask Jeanty conversation.
Yeah. He's
getting a decent amount.
Yeah.
Right? But he's not getting it all.
Huh?
Odunze is getting it all. He's the first.
He didn't get it all last. I know, but he didn't get it.
Okay,
he's not getting it.
First touchdown goes to Rome Odunze every week. Every week, it's Rome Odunze. First read. Jefferson, really?
Yeah. I love Rome. I'm Rome Truther 101. I'm still taking goddamn Jefferson over Odunze.
Okay, Rome or Neighbors?
I think Neighbors is what we saw him do. Like, if I could move my Neighbors for Rome plus, I would do that. But bar for bar, 1 for 1, still got to go Neighbors.
Okay, I'm with you. I think I would take Neighbors.
Still got to go
Neighbors. Be a bit more
Neighbors.
Volatile, but I think I would take Neighbors.
Still got to go Neighbors. Man.
So you take Jefferson, you're taking Chase. Yep. I'm assuming you're taking Lamb. Would you take Amon-Ra
over Rome Odunze?
Straight up.
Yes.
Straight up.
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes, I would.
Puka, you would, because Puka's floor is just insane.
Absolutely.
Jackson Smith and Jigba or Rome Odunze?
JSN.
I think JSN's been really good.
JSN. Yeah. There's no wide receiver. There's no wide receiver that does more for his offense as far as just volume and opportunity than JSN. He was 9.4 Trinity going into the week, and then he did 5 for 90 and a touchdown, JSN.
And I think that's where the list ends, because would you rather Rome Odunze or Brian Thomas Jr.?
Rome Odunze.
Rome Odunze or Drake London?
Rome Odunze.
Rome Odunze or Emeka Egbuka?
Emeka Egbuka. I think
Really?
I think they're right there. I think they're back to back.
They're
Flip a
both
coin.
close for
Flip
sure.
a coin. Flip a coin. Flip a coin. Especially with his projected opportunity. Flip a coin. Flip a coin.
Rome Odunze or Nico Collins? It's got to be Odunze. It's got to be.
That's a tough one. Nico looked great this week. Houston's offense is a big problem, but it's all Nico. Like, it's all Nico.
The touchdown was a busted play, though.
It was a busted play. It was a busted play.
Stroud didn't miss it like Bo Nix did, but
Stroud did not miss it. Bo Nix missed a few of them. I think I could justify Rome Odunze there. I could justify Rome Odunze there.
Rome Odunze or Tetero McMillan?
Odunze over T-Mac.
And then
T-Mac
you got McConkey is next.
Rome.
I don't know if you want to talk about McConkey today. We have to get.
We got to get. We got to get to him next show. We got to get to him next show.
Rome Odunze is next on KTC.
Where's he at? Just what's the numerical ranking for Odunze right now?
14. You had him right at wide receiver 8-9 for him and Egbuka.
Yeah, that's
depending on where you have Egbuka relative to those guys, but you had him about 8-9, so in the top 10.
Okay. All right. Hit the music, man. We got to go. Got to wrap it up today. Appreciate everybody being in the building. We will get through the other games and other things from week 3 going into week 4. 10 things we love and hate going into week 4. That show will be Wednesday. We appreciate everybody being in the building. Sorry if the stream was messing up for y'all. That's YouTube problem, not our problem. Just catch it back on the replay. Hit the thumbs up button, like, comment, subscribe. Wake y'all asses up with me and JRich on Wednesday morning. We'll cover more stuff that we didn't get to talk about. We got a lot going on and a dope Monday night football game. Jay, anything you want to say to people before we get out of here?
Thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe. And I think the Ravens beat down the Lions tonight, so let's see what happens. But I'm excited, and of course, we will talk about it on Wednesday. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you guys for hopefully a monster Wednesday show. We're out. Peace.
Oh, JRich, hold on. My bad. Got to hit the outro.